All right. All right. In 3, 2, and 1. Welcome everybody to the Back and Forth. I'm Kevin, and this is
Chanel. Hello, everybody.
That's what she said. Her name is Chanel. Hey, Chanel, I got a question for you.
What's
How
up?
would you feel if I came to you and said, "Hey, you know what, Chanel? This is not me, Kevin, being married. Hey, Chanel, I want a baby." And I just looked at you. Nothing? Let's go!
No, it's nothing. Especially with that face.
Oh, gosh. All right, let's go. We back. All right, everybody. Welcome. Another great week, another great topic. Chanel, I got one for you this week.
Yeah.
We all know about co-parenting. We know about co-parenting relationships. But here's a new one. It might not be that new. We just put a new twist on it now. But Van Jones, you may know him, you may have seen him on the news on CNN. He welcomed a baby girl with his longtime friend as conscious co-parents. That's the new term. Conscious co-parents. It says here, he said that after the COVID lockdown, he was clear that he wanted another child. He discovered that his friend also, Noemi, also wanted a baby. And so they both decided to join forces and become conscious co-parents. It's a concept that he hopes that a lot more people will explore and consider. So, Chanel, what are your thoughts on conscious co-parenting?
Well, I just have one question, Kev.
Yes.
How did they create the baby?
Why, Chanel?
Because it changes everything.
Chanel. It was his friend. And conscious co-parenting, I'm quite sure that with conscious co-parenting, that there had to be some fluids exchanged. But I'm quite sure not in the normal sense. That's conscious.
So they had conscious sex.
No, I don't think they had conscious sex. They
had conscious sex with the lights on, no music, just motivational speakers speaking, and they had conscious sex and got up and bam.
No, ma'am. Nowhere in this thing did it say that they had the sex. Nowhere.
I'm just asking.
From my understanding, the conscious co-parenting relationship comes from when you're still is it artificially inseminated?
That's not what they said in the article. That's why I'm just trying. Because that changes everything.
It didn't say they had sex.
It didn't say that they had the artificial insemination either, because that's expensive and the sex is easy and free.
The way it was explained to me for conscious co-parenting, there is no bodily fluids being exchanged amongst each other.
Oh, okay. I just want to know. I just want to make sure, because
now that wouldn't be called conscious co-parenting. That would be called cutting co-parenting.
We call what?
We cutting.
What?
Can we cut?
Here's the reason I asked that question, Kev.
What?
Because in the article, Anderson Cooper is talking about co-parenting with his ex.
Yes.
And they actually got another child together. So we know that two men obviously cannot create a baby.
Stop.
However, they did have a previous sexual relationship.
I got to stop you, because why did you do this? Why?
Because you were talking about the cutting. So I mean that's
no. You said Anderson Cooper, and you said it's obvious that.
Okay, stop. stop, because you're going down a whole rabbit hole here.
Why did you do this? Oh my gosh.
I'm trying to. Okay, let me just sit on my hands because you're not gonna let me. You're not gonna let me be great today. But Anderson Cooper and his ex had a relationship. So what I'm saying is, it doesn't say how Van, whatever his name is, and Noemi had conceived. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is, psychologically and emotionally, from a woman's perspective, if they had the sex to make the baby, that may be throwing in some stuff into the mix of this whole conscious co-parenting thing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's called just having a baby together at that point.
Well, I mean, some people go in half on a baby. Some folks do that.
Yeah, but we're not talking
would
about
that. Be considered, but would that be considered conscious co-parenting?
From my understanding, conscious co-parenting, and I'm gonna pull it up. We do what we talked about one of our shows. We're talking about when kids ask you why, you just give them say let's Google it, and then we're gonna look it up, and then we'll just come up with an answer here. How about that? We're gonna say it's gonna say this right here, and if you get it before I do, you read it. Here we go. Okay. Conscience co-parenting. It says, how do you practice conscious co-parenting? Oh, but that's talking about afterwards, though. It's talking about speaking to your children in a respectful way, manage your expectations, consider creative daily routine, treat your children as individuals, show empathy and compassion, and teach your children by example.
No, it's helping the mindset of people. It's to help the mindset of people that are already in a co-parenting situation. All I'm asking is, for this particular incident, I think it would have been helpful to have the knowledge of how they created this child.
I just want to make sure I got the definition correct, because we could be talking about cutting and conscious co-parenting, because it says here, because the conscious co-parenting is on the back end.
Right. And that's why I said, and they reference Anderson Cooper's relationship, which he had a relationship with his ex. So,
but it says here, it says whatever his name conscious is. Co-parenting is a term used by various psychologists to describe a style of parenting that usually focuses more on the parent and how mindfulness can drive parenting choices. So
Van Jones and Noemi just didn't want to put a label on their friends with benefits.
We learn situation. We learn something new every day. And just because, this is why I say you have to be open to understanding things. Because when I went into this conversation today, reading up on this article and understanding, I was under the mindset that conscious co-parenting was, yes, we're not going to have a baby the traditional way. We're going to drop some stuff off at the clinic. You go get it, you get pregnant, and then we raise a child that way. We didn't have to worry about all the emotional baggage that went along with it. But reading on this right here, you understand that it's on the back end and how we're going to raise the child. So we have to be careful about how we perceive labels. And I'm bringing this back to myself, because me reading that article, I took it as one thing. It's almost like clickbait, because we read something one way, it may mean something totally different. And so that, to us, even as co-parents, we have to be careful about what we read into. Because from Chanel's standpoint, they may have been doing it to get the baby, but then on the back end we decide how we're going to raise this child. We can agree on that. But the way I understood it, the way I read it, was there was none of that involved at all, and we're just going to raise a child together without all the emotional stuff that goes along with it. Man, this is amazing.
That's good. This is amazing. This is why we do this.
Yeah, this is why we do, because somebody else might be thinking the same thing that I was thinking. And, shout out to the person who gave us this article. She knows who she is. So shout out to that person who gave this article because it gives you a whole different mindset on things. Because man, you can still choose together, and hey, we putting the word conscious co-parenting on it. But to me, I still call it open lines of communication and having an understanding of where the other co-parent lies and what they think and what they believe, and being able to understand or listen to them when they try to explain to you what they feel or what they think should go on in the child's life, and being able to be receptive to that. So I just gave you a long word answer for conscious co-parenting, but I mean, if it works for them, Chanel, I guess it works. I guess we had a little fun making it happen. Then we're gonna be conscious co-parents, but man, potato.
I've seen shows or movies, I guess, where people made the decision like, okay, you know what, I'm 30 something, I'm in my 30s, and I'm in my 30s too, and I always wanted to have a kid. It doesn't look like I'm going to have one before 40. So if we get to 38 and we both don't have a kid, then let's make a kid together. We raise it together, But they of course wasn't talking about going through the pricey procedure. They were just going, have sex and have the baby, So in this case, that's why I originally asked that question. How did they do that? Because having that information will allow us to, I think, explore it a little bit better.
Yeah, and it made me start thinking because a long time ago in the military, and people out there who were in the military a long time ago, back in the 80s or 90s, probably know what I'm about to talk about. It was things called marriage of convenience. It's where we decide to get married to help us out on taxes, help us out on from money standpoint. We may not love each other, but we're married legally, and so we can form this union so we can tackle this thing together as opposed to single and struggling. So
right.
And I'm thinking going down the same lines now with this, we want a child. We just don't want all the other stuff that come along with it. We're going to make a child together, and then we're going to raise this child, but we're not quote unquote together because it said they're just friends. They're just friends. But that show there's a lot of friendship going on to make this happen, because you got to check in and make sure you ovulating and all that stuff, and that's a whole lot of friendship right there. A lot of people like to probably be in one of those friendships with people that probably don't want the conscious co-parenting thing that comes along with it.
Right. Well, we call that friends with benefits, like, you have needs, I have needs.
I knew you was going to say it. I wasn't going to say it.
Hey, I mean,
What is this?
I'm just saying, you got needs, I got needs, and we just get our needs met together, and we go our separate ways. People do that, and so and allegedly, that's just my opinion of what has happened here. But we don't have all of that information.
And we put a title on it. We call it something.
Yes.
Conscious co-parenting.
Yes.
Oh man, that ain't nothing but friends with benefits. No.
Okay. But we can't put that out there with Van whatever his name. Why I can't remember Van Jones. We can't put that on Van Jones, We gotta call it something intellectual.
Yeah, conscious co-parenting. Oh well, Chanel. With that, I feel a little better. I learned a lot more. Still feel a little dirty right now because it didn't come out where I thought it would. But okay, if that's what they want to do, when in Rome, we do as. And while saying that, make sure you all hit that like, subscribe, and notification button so you all know the next time we put content out there, because I done forgot to do that in 2 different shows, and Chanel keep reminding me on the back end. So maybe she need to consciously remind me of something. So y'all just
try to be a good co-host. That's all.
Oh, that's all. You're conscious co-host here. So yeah. So Chanel, I'm gonna tell these people to stay safe and be blessed. What you got for them?
Put God first, and you'll be moisturized and unbothered.
Come on, that's all we got. We out.